What is up, everybody? Jess here, Seer, and I am back for my transmission video volume 17. It's been 17 of these, and they have all revolved more or less around perception. And this one, of course, perception, perspective, and reality. It's just like this 3-word phrase that has been bouncing around in my head, and today is 11/17, and I had to get this message out. Better late than never. So I've been pretty MIA. I've been pretty ghost from social media, not interacting at all really on my personal page. I posted my stories sometimes, and I posted my Seer page, and the runes of the day have been definitely a way to express energy that has been coming in for the collective, and even things that I've been sensing and picking up on. I've been sharing with the collective. So here with my transmission video, if you haven't watched any of my transmission videos, these are videos I started doing to kind of like understand more timelines of what I get with my seer ability. I foresee warning nature type stuff, like, energy coming in and things happening. So what I wanted to touch on this video and like kind of reevaluate, like bring back up, is like the perception topic that I went on with a lot of these videos, and like holding that perception of self and understanding that that's key. And I have to say that in some of those videos, I feel like that I was kind of pointing more of like, don't allow others to change your perception of self. Don't allow, like, that was a little more of my focus. And like an energy was coming in that it was going to jilt that perception of self and like change it in some way, and kind of like throw you off your rocker. So like now with like volume 17, and I'm here like expressing, I did 2 other videos that were kind of, over the last few months, I've been pretty like MIA. I did the shamanic death video. It was like 10 months ago. I looked at my YouTube, and excuse me, had a lot of feedback with that. And then a few months later, I did an empathic video of like hypersensitivity. And like I was personally going through a crazy moment of hypersensitivity and needed to express that. And I know that in that video, I was so introverted. Like if you've seen it and you see me now, like even just my voice is different. It's wild. So basically, like with that message is like, there's been a lot of shifts happening. Perspective shifts have been happening because the perception that we hold of ourselves isn't really like what our future is needing. So here with that, and what I want to express with this video is basically like, in those past videos, it's like, don't let others jilt that perception, but it's like, don't let yourself jilt that perception either. So like I've noticed, not just with myself, but with others, either you have gone through this, you are going through this, or have yet to go through this. And I'm not trying to wish this on you. I'm just trying to help you understand that this energy could be affecting you. You could be watching this 6 months from now, and this could pertain to what you're going through at that time. Don't feel like this is only for 11/17. This is when I'm relaying this message. So basically what I'm here to express is what's basically happening prior to 2022 is that we're like, things are being extracted from our lives. Things are changing. Our perspective is shifting hardcore, and it's almost like it's forced that way. So what I've been realizing with myself and with some others that I've communicated with about this subject is like a lot of the karma clearing that's happening. It's almost like the universe is forced karma clearing. It's like, hey, we're putting a big vacuum to all these like ley lines of like karma, lineage connections, and even past life connections, and they're like sucking it out. So it's like a deep cleaning. We're doing a deep karma douching here, straight up. And it's being forced upon us. So like, this energy that's coming in, that's shifting your perception, like jilting or fucking with your perception, is because, as I get dizzy as I'm saying this, it's because this perception is almost rooted in that imprinting of those karma lines. So like whether that be past life or ancestral karma lines, that's an imprint that's been happening and conditioning that's been happening in a lot of our decisions and choices. Like, you know, our choices and our like how we view ourselves is based on that. So as we clear that, it's almost like, you know, you have like this, like a new notebook with nothing written in it, and you're like, I can't read it, you know, because there's nothing written in it. So what I'm saying here now is like what's been coming in, and I personally have been going through it over the past months, like since my shamanic death. You know, it's been a lot of some individuals have approached me about certain scenarios within their life, and they're not really spiritually evolved in any way. They don't know much. They like are intrigued by crystals and candles and things, and they do like some magic and stuff, but like they don't know a lot. And like I've had a few people come to me lately asking me certain questions, and it's interesting to me because it's like they're almost going through their own shamanic death, but they don't understand that that's what that is. So it's almost like a global shamanic death, if you must. But that's just the word I'm using. That's my perception of it. Remember, perception is how you you can mentally handle or perceive something. So where I'm going with this is basically like, all right, so for example, with myself, the shamanic death I endured was literally stripping away so much karmic layers. Like I was like literally like to the point of like, excuse me, as I was breaking these karmic layers, I was seeing like the outcome in my daughter and the advance that she was receiving from me breaking these. But I could also feel, sense, and see the reaction and effect it had on like my dad. Like, so to say, with one scenario, I had literally picked up his emotions, and it was fucking scary. It was very, very insane, and it scared me. It made me worry. I had to reach out and like dive a little deeper and understand. And a lot of it was based because I was, what I see it as me breaking that karma line. So like, as him not being so, you know, aware of that, you know, it was very enlightening experience for sure. I keep yawning. Oh, I tend to yawn a lot when my crown and third eye open, so I'm not bored, okay? But yeah, back to subject. So like with these transmission videos, there are a lot of what's coming in for the collective, the energy, whether that, you know, like I said, those videos I could have made months ago, but they pertain to you at this life. The whole point is if it's resonating with you, it's resonating with you. So this message here is like, allow those karmic lines to break. Allow those imprints to break. You're going to start seeing why they're happening. Like, I'm noticing the universe is doing like literally like a douche of people's perceptions. It's like taking like those action, like those choices and those things that were formulated in that old perception you viewed everything, and taking it away so it can give you like this whole new view of stuff. And, you know, we're not going to like it. There's a lot of people that aren't going to like it. I mean, there's definitely, I wasn't liking it. I fucking was not liking it at all. But I see now why. And I see that my soul could not evolve making the choices in that past perception. The things that I was doing, like, I wasn't going to murder anybody, but like the point is that like, the actions I was taking and the perception I had was one way, but it wasn't fully getting me to where I need to be or evolve to who I need to be. It was still keeping me in those imprints of the past or ancestral imprinting, and making choices based upon that. So like what happened, I realized after my shamanic death and when I went into my rebirth, which I'm still rebirthing, and it's okay. The process is going to be different for everybody. Shorter, longer. You know, the more you honor it, the easier it will be. allowing for that vulnerability to happen and feeling comfortable to express those emotions in scenarios. If you don't, have family members or friends that you could reach out and speak to, please reach out to a therapist and understand more of how you're perceiving things, because that's definitely going to help you. You're not out there alone. You can reach out to someone. Know that. I'm emphasizing that even more now with the uprise in depression and suicide that has been happening with humanity lately. So please, if you feel like anything is you need to reach out to the right person. And this is a lot of where this message is, because reaching out to the person that can't understand your perception, or even through a neutral basis of discernment and not so much of a glorified judgment, if you must, is definitely going to be key to you understanding and moving forward. Because if another doesn't understand of even how you're trying to vocalize your perception of something, and they meet you with some sort of like any form of judgment, even if that's just not understanding you and it comes off in a different way, it's going to stop you from moving forward. It's going to make it harder for you to it's going to make you revert. It's going to make you kind of spin your wheels backwards, because, or like, I just keep seeing those roly-poly bugs, like kind of just, it's going to make you do that. So be aware of that, and know when to reach out when you need it. And if there's a moment of like you don't think you have like, if you're in that moment of I have nobody to reach out to, then this is the time to reach out. And even if it's to a stranger, that's a big reality that's upon us, is what could happen. So yeah, the perception is definitely something that we got to highlight here, and like realizing that others' perception may not be normal to you, or may not be something you fully understand the severity of, but coming from a neutral bias way is like definitely going to assist the other person as well, and help them feel accepted or even heard, so yeah, so like, don't be surprised if you notice things kind of almost being pulled away from your life, or even like casually going away, because that's kind of like a sign for like, as we go into 2022, I keep seeing it being like a blank canvas, or not even a blank canvas. It's almost like you're walking out onto I wouldn't even say graduation. It makes me think of like a baseball field. Maybe the pitcher's mound, I guess. Yeah, it's like you're walking out onto the pitcher's mound. That's what I'm seeing. And it's like, it's like, think of like what's being ripped away from your perception and your reality, like as like the noisy crowd, like distracting the picture, like, or the other team cheering for, just, I know baseball, like not a lot of people cheer, but I just keep seeing it as like, you walking out onto the pitcher mound, and then like all that distraction is like gone, and you have like the catcher. You don't even have the ref. The ref's not even there. The batter's coming to plate, and like it's not even. You don't even see the batter yet. They're not even there yet. You just see the catcher, and you're walking up to that mound because you're ready to throw that first pitch. Yes, I talk with my hands a lot. So like, basically, what the universe is doing is like clearing away like parts of your team that aren't part of your team. I guess that's why they're showing me like the pitcher mound. You're the pitcher of this game, and you need to get in the game. I have really weird analogies sometimes, but yeah, no, that's what they're showing me. It's almost like it's weird. It's like you hear that phrase, "There's no I in team," but like you are your team. So like, yeah, that reevaluation is happening. That what do they call it in baseball? When that like a change up, like there's a change up happening, and your perception isn't going to be what it used to be, and you're probably going to see that in you're going to see it in ways you're not going to see it right away. Put it like that. It's not going to be fully shown to you on why. I guess my message here is like, allow these things to break away, allow the remnants of that shamanic death to happen, allow that inner child in you to recalibrate. Because like what's happening is we're pulling away all these karmic connections, karmic ancestral karma stuff, these imprintings that have happened, and it's like bringing you back to that learning point, but as an adult. So it's allowing you to evolve and expand in ways that you couldn't physically do when you were little. Like I know for me with the shamanic death I endured, and like the things that were being extracted from my life, it reverted me into being that child me. So like that me being so quiet and not on social media and like not reaching out in a sense, or like being like, hey, look at me, that was me in my inner child self. And like I had family members that would call me a mute. Like they didn't think I talked. They thought I didn't talk at all. But really what it was is that I was so highly sensitive to things that like I couldn't talk. It wasn't even that not that I couldn't. I would talk to like immediate family. But it was like I was so sensitive to the adults and everything that was going around, energetic wise, even the other side when I was that age, that I didn't know how to communicate it. So it's almost like we're being faced similar acts, is like communicating it is going to sound foreign to some people. Like it's going to be difficult. For me anyways, that's what that was. I know that I've spoke with a couple people over the last couple weeks, and like they've expressed like the same thing, but for their own life. You know what I mean? Like it's going to be different for you, but the foundation of it is very similar. It's like, you know, our perception of ourselves is rooted in a foundation that was imprinted from our ancestors, like in how we grew up. So as much as we could walk the walk of not being our parents and not reliving those actions, or even our own past actions, there's still like layers that are imprinted that we can't see, that we're not conscious of. And those are coming to the surface. Those unconscious ties are coming to the surface. So like, even like when I said like choices and even relationships based out of those old imprintings, you know, if that imprinting isn't held within your DNA anymore, in your energy field anymore, those things aren't going to be existent in your reality anymore. And it's going to come as a shock. It's going to come as a relief too, you know. For me, I noticed that a lot of what was pulled away was like, you know, I was calling it, I claim in my head, like not even, oh yeah, I was calling it in my head. But no, I coined the phrase for me and how I relate to it as slave ships. Is like, for me, I realized there was this subservient nature that came with a lot of the relationships and friendships that I was in, is that I was the subservient one. And even having a conversation with somebody from my past, and you know, his perception, subservient was definitely the word. I'm like, so you liked me because I was subservient? And to me, that is like being a slave to another person's, you know, desires, I guess you could say, or even like to make them comfortable. So I realized that a lot of my imprinting was based in, you know, going above and beyond and doing what I can for another person. And, you know, not always thinking about how that affected me and like what it was doing to me in return. And like even like the karma stuff I was facing because of it. Sorry, my phone is about to die. Like the stuff I was creating because of it, because of my perception of it. But this is like an imprinting that I was holding that was like beyond my existence. This is something from my ancestors, from my lineage that was like carried on, that I had to fully break for it to not go to my daughter. You know, it's like these things are happening like in 1 second. I am okay. I don't want this thing to die. I'm only going to do a short video anyway. So let me get to the point. So like, you know, these things were all like create, like, I was a very, like, it was like I was a servant to people, you know, in a lot of areas in my life. And that just, I didn't have that. I didn't even see that. I did not see that until things were ripped away, and it was like my only function was to serve and help. And it's like, that's, I realized when I retracted and started, you know, doing for me, or even like trying to, you know, recalibrate my perception, it caused those relationships to falter, like fall in a way, because that subservient part, like that servant in a way part of me that was there, wasn't there. So like it was almost like they didn't even see me as beneficial in a sense. So that was like a lot of reality I was facing with even family relations, like dynamics and stuff like that. And like realizing that, you know, you're around to benefit other people. That was a harsh fucking imprint that was like lifted. And it was difficult. And like, and again, I saw it within my parents, like, and I see it within my daughter, and her like really understanding a better perspective of things. So for me, that's great. Like that's made all of what I went through worth it. So like I could see this, like almost 2022 is going to be that, you know, you're going onto that pitcher mound, and you're like writing the story of your new life. That's what's happening. And this next month, like we're really going to be douching a lot of stuff. Like 11/11 portal opened, and it was like download central. And it's about to formulate, you know, and holding that perception, that old perception of yourself, isn't going to allow you to see it. Or even like, it's big on like people's, I feel like even I experienced a few of it. I was talking with someone today, and he was very expressive with how he saw it, and it was very similar to this. Is like others are so fixated on how they see you that when you change, they don't realize that it's a better you. They just want the old you back. So, you know, that can create a tug of war in yourself too, because you're still not holding the perception you want to see for yourself. You're allowing others' perception of yourself to alter how you're living your life. So that's definitely falling back with that old transmission video of don't let others jilt your perception of self. Because there's going to be ways when you shift and change, and they're not going to like how you shift, or it's going to be just so foreign. It's not even that they don't like it. It's just so foreign to them, or like parts of yourself that don't exist anymore because you're clearing that. It's almost like they can't see you anymore, if that makes sense. I don't know. It's changing, so allow it to change. So yeah, perception, perspective, and reality. You know, your perception of self is gonna have a, you know, it's very important. And even the new self, and I might sound like I'm saying gibberish to you. That's fine. And I know that there's some people that are definitely feeling this message, and maybe gone through the same thing, and you're, you know, you're doing great work. Keep it up. That's what I gotta say. You know, if you're feeling the need, if you're feeling isolated and not by choice, reach out to someone and, you know, let them know. And it's definitely important right now with the change of times. So be prepared. For those of you watching this and noticing others in your life and family members that maybe experience a shift in their reality, and it's not really good for them right now, or even like, you know, you feel for them at the moment, reach out to them, see how they're doing, check on them, and wish them well and stuff, you know, because they might need it. They might be in a place where they think that nobody understands them because, you know, what they're going through, and be that light for somebody else, I guess, for sure. And yeah, this just allow that shift to happen, you know? The universe is like recalibrating, like we're all that old stuff is like going away. So 2022 is going to be new. You know, I feel like my 2020 was 2021. You know, a lot of people went through a shift in 2020 and like a change of everything. My 2020 was actually very up leveling. There wasn't much, it was kind of just uphill. But then like once 2021 hit, it was like, oh, that hill just stopped. And it was almost like I was trying to go. It's almost like you picture somebody like going down a hill and then they have to start running because the hill's so steep, and then they just like start tumbling. 2021 I feel had that effect on a lot of people, and it was a lot of like, so you can recalibrate, you know, break away that foundation that isn't fitting for you. Those situations that are like holding you back. I mean, you know, the more we act on those old imprints and act even like as much as we can consciously know that we're moving forward differently, or, you know, without being the same as our parents, without being that imprint of that mistake or like that repeat of that lesson, in a sense, as consciously as we can be, there is still unconscious layers that linger, and we're like literally pulling those away without even realizing. And the easier we let that happen, or even accept that what's happening is for our benefit, the easier it will be to move forward from it and get a better perception of yourself. Because perception is like, that's all I hear is perception, perspective, reality. Like, it's like those three things. Like, it's shifting to shift your perspective. You know what I mean? Like, it's almost like, I feel like the void is a good word, that some might feel they're in a void at the moment, but it's going to clear up. And you're going to be the one to do it. So let those old paradigms break away. Let those old layers of self, karmic lines clear, because you're stepping on a new player's mound, and you're the player in this game, and you're going to, you know, right over the plate. So keep up the good work. Reach out to someone if you need it, and be the person to reach out to those who need it, if you feel that is something that needs to be done for the benefit of all involved. So I hope you all can understand this message, and if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to message me. If you are resonating with this and don't feel like commenting and want it more private, by all means, please let me know. I'm here to help. And check out the rune reads. I'll do another one on Freya's Day. So I hope you have a beautiful night, morning, afternoon, whenever you may be watching this. And peace, love, and blessings. Bye.